As part of my mentoring program, the question I get asked the most is, how do I get into product management? What do I need to consider when thinking about the product manager role? And this is exactly what I'm going to be covering in this video. I will share what is the role of a product manager, what are the 3 key things to consider when you are applying for a product manager role, and I will finish with actionable steps you can take to prep for a PM role if you think that's the right career path for you. Please remember to subscribe for weekly product manager insights and tips. Now, product manager, despite what the name actually says, they don't actually manage anyone directly. The role is all about influence and collaboration with other functions such as product design, marketing, engineering, to build features and products that answer customer needs. Why is product management increasingly important? You might have seen an increase in product manager roles, and according to LinkedIn's Product Manager Report 2022, they mentioned that 43% of companies are hiring PMs. But why? And reason is that there's more businesses focused on building customer-first experiences to differentiate themselves in a competitive landscape. Companies are now hiring more product managers to help shape and build memorable experiences that drive business metrics. Now let's move on what really matters when it comes to moving into product management. The first thing is understanding the product manager responsibilities and skills required. Here's some key PM responsibilities to give you a flavor of what we do. I also have a video about the day in the life of a product manager. If you want to click below, or is also in the description. Think about a new feature being released, such as YouTube releasing shorts. Now, this always comes from a business metric. YouTube wanting to increase engagement. In this situation, let's say the PM will lead the data analysis and analysis of the competitor landscape. What are the different ways to drive engagement? They might end up in a lot of brainstorming sessions, making sure that the right people are involved at the right time to understand all the different opportunities and all the different features they could be building. And then ultimately it comes down to, when they have decided on different ideas, the PM's role is to work with other functions such as design, engineering, marketing, operations, whatever is applicable, to answer the following questions for each idea. Is this valuable from a customer perspective? Is this feasible? Is this something that we can build with the resources available? Is this a viable idea? Will this idea drive business metrics in a sustainable way? When it comes to skills, now the PM role, as I said, is all about defining what is the right next thing to build for the business and for the users. Hence, a lot of time is spent on understanding the customer problem, prioritizing, but also delivering the feature. So when it comes to skills, you have the setting the strategy, setting the objectives, setting the roadmap, then prioritizing what are the right features to build, and then ensuring that the idea is executed, working with engineering in agile processes, and a lot of cross-team collaboration, alignment, stakeholder management in order to deliver the features. Then the last part is all around closing the feedback loop and learning from each feature. Second thing to consider is what type of product management. Now, as product management becomes more established, there will be more specialization within it, and I think is really useful for you to understand what is available to help you make a decision. Now, this is not an extensive list, it's just more of a flavor of the differences. Let's start with product manager role in a B2B company will be probably more focused on prioritization, managing stakeholder expectations, and cross-collaboration. Product manager role in a B2C company will be more focused on product discovery, understanding customer needs through quantitative and qualitative data. There's a lot of focus there on experimentation. Here's a video I previously did about the differences between B2B and B2C product managers, which will go into more detail. Third type of product manager is growth product manager. Now, their focus is always on delivering measurable business outcomes via short-term improvements. Technical product manager. Now, this role tends to focus more around APIs or services. There's probably more complex products that they're in charge of. A lot of the customers will be other internal teams, and for this role you do need to be a lot more technical. Third thing to consider is the size of the company you want to join. I do believe that makes a difference in the type of product management you're going to experience, because there are quite big differences between the role you will be doing between a large company and a smaller company. Having worked in large companies as well as scale-ups and startups, I can share from my experience. I think the biggest difference between company size is the level of influence you have. Key characteristics for each of those. Large companies, the key things would be that there will be more defined roles, and most probably those companies will have a established career progression path, so you'll be really clear on what the product manager role does in that company. There's also wider net support, so like there will be a lot of other product managers. It's potentially slower to drive change. That's because, one, there's a lot of complexity when it comes to the systems, and then two, is also the number of teams involved in driving change can also slow it down. Medium to small companies, I believe that the problems and the scope is a lot wider. Depending on the amount of people in the team you're in, you can range from owning a specific journey end to end to owning the whole app or website experience. Your work will be having a bigger impact directly onto business metrics, so you'll be accountable for more things such as conversion improvements, increasing customer frequency. I think there's potentially less support when it comes to product management, because the company will probably not have as many product managers. So it's really important for you to be comfortable in your role or have a network outside of your work where you can actually reach out to people. Now that we have considered what the product manager is, what are the 3 things to consider when thinking about the product manager role, now is time to share some actionable steps you can take. Here are some resume tips if you want to apply for product manager roles. 1. It's really important to look at your experience and focus on the results you have driven. Where possible, explain the actions you have taken to drive the results. Product manager is a lot about driving outcomes and driving business impact. Hence, you want to reflect that in your resume to show that you're already thinking that way and this is the value you have provided to the business. I would really encourage you to use actionable words and relate them back to the PM skills and behaviors. If you have set up metrics before, or you have driven experimentation, or you have done any of the things that a product manager would do, highlight that in your resume. Third thing is communication is a massive part of the product manager role. Your resume should be in a really clear format, and it should be really easy to read and really highlight the key things you have achieved. Lastly, what I would really suggest, this is not just a resume thing, but I think when applying for product manager roles, you should really understand kind of high-level product development process and agile framework. I have added a few videos in my description that could help you get a wider understanding of the product management framework. Hope this was useful. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe for more product manager tips and insights.